Hey everyone, it's Winter here with the Shift Spotlight, and today we have Natalie Guzman, who is the co-founder of Nadora. Welcome, Natalie. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So, at a high level, tell our listeners what it is that you do.
Yeah, so I actually have two businesses. I have a virtual assistant agency, and then I have Nadora, which is an all-in-one system for entrepreneurs to create landing pages, email campaigns, text campaigns, unlimited calendars, automations, so you don't have to have so many softwares at once.
Gotcha. Okay, so which one of your businesses are you working on more at this time?
Yeah, so I built the NG virtual assistant to a automated business, and basically my whole team takes care of all of that. It's a really successful business I've had since 2015. And so now Nadora is rather new, it launched in January. And so that is my current focus right now.
Gotcha. So, on the virtual assistant side, are those employees? Are they 1099 contractors? How would you have it structured?
Both. So my base team is what I like to call them. My project managers are my W-2 employees, and then my contractors are kind of the support staff. So the virtual assistant agency works a little different. Instead of being matched with a virtual assistant, instead you're matched with a project manager who then assigns the tasks and creates the strategies and processes, SOPs, and hands it off to the team to complete.
Yeah, that's a much easier way to do it, I think, than actually working with the virtual assistant directly. So, who is your optimal target client?
Yeah, so most of our clients are six-figure entrepreneurs trying to reach that seven figures, although we do have seven-figure clients as well. But one of our specialties is really creating those processes and strategies for our clients that most entrepreneurs that haven't hit seven figures, they usually struggle with that the most.
So, would they be more like solopreneurs or are they, on their way to being true running corporate companies?
Yeah, so it's a mix of both, but usually they're service-based entrepreneurs. We have everything from doctors, tree industry, we have cleaning companies, we even have business coaches. So we have the solopreneur, and then we have the big, even like big electrician company and things like that. So it really ranges because at the core, we businesses have kind of the same structure, and so that's what we kind of build and create. So it's kind of universal.
Yeah, that's interesting. We work with a lot of those same. So we are a CEO coaching and peer advisory community. So we put together a bunch of CEOs, have your peers help you with some problems along the way, things that you deal with as a business owner that only business owners understand, because sometimes it can be lonely at the top. But then we also bring in experts in the top areas where we see businesses struggle. And we work a lot with similar industries, lawn care, electricians, HVAC, attorneys, and we call those the chaos industries. Not directly to their face, but those are businesses that tend to bring in a lot of cash. They're highly successful businesses, but it started out as some sort of, being good at something. I cut lawns as a kid and started making a name for myself, and everybody started talking about me, and next thing you know, they've got staff and they're doing billings and they're doing the marketing, and they were never really given, they figured it all out on the job, and they were never coached or had the right leadership training. So here they've got all the staff, but they don't know what to do with it, and here they need to bill, but they don't have experience with how to run QBO. And so would you say that you see, when you first get started with some of those companies, do you see like a huge kind of like fire that you initially go into?
Oh, 100%. I think my biggest one right now is a cleaning company that everything was in the CEO's head.
Mm,
So gate codes, addresses, phone numbers all over the place. They're doing amazing financially,
yep.
but everything is out all over the place. They don't have a system. They don't have a process. They have a CRM system. So we actually got them hooked up into Nadora to get all their stuff automated and to actually create their CRM and all that. And we're seeing like a huge shift, not only in their money or their financial aspect, but in their stress. Because they when you have that much in your brain, you are
Yeah.
going to be a hot mess. And so now they're finally starting to calm down and see how the process works.
Yeah, and that's the interesting word, shift, right? Because like that's what we're all about is we're trying to get these CEOs to shift from working in the business to working on the business. And in order to do that, you've got to get them out of their own head and you got to get their brain, implemented everywhere else. So so you work with a lot of CEOs, you get that mindset, you get that mentality. What's been the most like if you could give advice to a CEO to help you help them and just be as blunt as possible because our listeners are CEOs. They want to learn. They know they don't know it all, right? Be as blunt as possible. Like what would be the number one tip you would give a business owner or CEO?
You need to work on delegation. I think that's the biggest thing is oh man, I was just in a group of a bunch of millionaires and I was trying to see if I would fit for their mastermind group. And the first thing I hear when they find out I have a VA agency, they're all like, oh man, every single one of us needs a virtual assistant. I was like, do you guys have a team? And a lot of them were even doing this stuff on their own or using like their sister or their wife or whatnot to kind of help manage things, but their business was actually larger than what their team could handle. So that's when we start seeing quality control issues. We start making mistakes. We start getting overwhelmed. Our personal lives start falling apart. It's literally like a Jenga tower that just keeps crumbling. If you don't have these system processes and the knowledge and being able to trust someone to delegate. I think another thing with delegation is SOPs. So having your standard operating procedure that says how you do stuff in your business, because if you don't have that and you get a VA, you're gonna have issues. You're not gonna be able, because that's your communication on paper or in a video format. I don't care how it's done. It just has to be done. So that way your staff can actually handle the work that needs to be completed.
Right. When I first got my virtual assistant, I literally would just record what I would do all day. And then when they started, I was like, your job is going to be to put together the process and procedures manual. And you're going to take everything that I've been doing and you're going to put it in a way that is trainable to anyone else that becomes hired at this company. And so like, I think that too, a lot of owners if they just recorded what they did on a daily basis and then handed that off to somebody else and then cleaned it up at the end, right? It would make their life so much easier.
Yeah. And some of my SOPs are video trainings. It's a video that I did that just shows every single step. Sometimes I haven't even put that into a document, but I love how you said that you delegated that part. So they would actually create the written version as well. That's very, very smart.
And I told her, I was like, look, the training's going to suck. Okay. My training is going to suck because I'm really busy right now. But here's the good news is that it's going to be where you get it up and running and you figure it out as soon as possible so that I don't have to. Right. So you're going to learn fast. And I'm a huge fan of like when you're first bringing on staff or, if it's a contractor that you've hired, I'm a big fan of letting them screw up right away and letting them screw up and learn from that as opposed to trying to control every bit of it. Because look, you're going to mess up once and they will remember it and they will not mess up again. But when you're trying to control the employee or the, contractor that you've hired to take it off your hand, that's just putting more work on your plate.
Yeah. And it's something really interesting that you said is like, when we make mistakes, right? When we're making mistakes in our business, we also know we're the ones that have to fix it. And we barely notice that we made the mistake because then we just go on to the next part. Oh, we fixed that mistake and we take care of it. Well, I feel like we don't notice when we make those mistakes. But when our staff make them, we notice. We're like, they messed up. We have to take it the same way that we do ourselves. Is like, it's okay. They can fix it. We can give them a little knowledge on how to fix it. But also not taking it from them. Be like, I'm never giving that to them again. No, let them fix it and they will learn. I think I've only ever had to be hard on a VA once. And it was just because it was a continuous mistake. And I wasn't even really, really mad, but I was just like, we can't do that. We gave you a written form. We gave you a video form. We can't make this mistake again. And she had never made a mistake since. And it's just, we can be respectful about it and understanding, and then just making sure that we have, you know, I could say that to her because I had the written and I had the video. If I
Right.
didn't have that, that kind of falls on me if I didn't
Right.
communicate. And I think a lot of times we don't take that self-responsibility. That could be our mistake. And that's why every VA we hire is screwing up. It's because we're not communicating.
Right. And something you said is not taking it back. I can't tell you how many times I see owners give something, and then next thing you know, they're poop taking it back. And the other day, our VA deleted our entire shift spot database in our CRM. And I was like, well, you deleted it all. Get with the help desk and figure out how to get it back. And I mean, it took everything for me. Like I started looking around in the CRM, and then I was like, wait, hold on. I'm not going to do this because it will not train her to learn how to make the mistake. She had to get with the help desk. So and she was freaking out. And I even said to her, I can feel you stressing out over there.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you're going to figure this out. And I have the full faith that you'll restore this database. And she did. And that's another thing I think that business owners need to do is just take a minute and give people the benefit of the doubt. Yes, nobody's going to do it as better than you. At least that's what you think in your own mind. But if they're scared shitless and, you know, they don't know that they're going to be able to, you know, fix this, or you don't have the confidence in them, then they're going to make even more mistakes. Right. So like me just saying to her, I can feel you stressing out and I know it's going to be okay. She got it handled and she got it done. So it's really, don't take it back.
Oh yeah. And it's so hard to do. Right. And we're like, because we want to be, I think entrepreneurs, all of us are pretty much control freaks in some form or another. And so we want to, that's us taking control. But there's a beautiful thing when we just, I always tell my staff, I'm going to let you swim. There's certain parts where I literally will just like, I will get on meeting with them. Maybe it's like a discovery call, and then I'll just let them handle it. And I'll be back there being that silent support. And I have made amazing employees grow because of that. Actually, my director of operations started out as a marketing assistant. And I think I put her in so many scenarios where she had to swim or sink. And she got through it. She learned, and it motivated her. Because at the end, she's like, man, I did that. I completed this. I did this. It's like when you get your license, right? At least for me, I taught myself to drive. I didn't have anyone to teach me. And so when I got my license, I was like, I did that. I'm the best. I'm so good at this. And I was so proud of myself. And I want my team to feel like that so much all the time, because it's going to make their work so much better. It's going to make our client interactions so much better. And that's just the positive environment you want in a company.
Right. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. So you were a former foster child, right?
I was, yes.
And so you probably taught yourself a lot, and you became a CEO, and I'm sure you taught yourself a lot on the job. So what's been the most difficult part of your CEO journey?
I think in the beginning was delegation for sure, which is why I mentioned it earlier. And I think I became a brand new mom and a CEO at the same exact time. And so as a mom, you know, I want to do everything myself. As a business owner, I want to do everything myself. And I had to learn that my business and, you know, even my child is so much more than just me. And it's, you know, it's all the people that put into it, put the time, the energy, that are passionate about it, that care about it, whether that's my child or my business. That's what's going to make them grow into beautiful things. And so that was something I definitely really, really struggled with. And now I'm struggling with time versus money. So sometimes I am putting too much on my plate and just really trying. I just recently took Tuesdays off. And I'm very excited about that. Not only do I get the weekends now, I get Tuesday too. And just having
Taco
that time.
Tuesdays.
Yeah, exactly. So just to really put my focus, that's like, you know, when I focus on my family, or my stepfather just got diagnosed with dementia. So now I can go and see him and spend time with him. And that has been just a huge blessing for me, and just realization that, you know, I'm a CEO. I can shift things around and I can make the rules, and I don't have to work 9 to 5 or, you know, these long, crazy hours. Every entrepreneur in some of the groups I'm in, they say, oh yeah, the entrepreneur life, we work 24/7. Well, that's not why I became an entrepreneur.
Right.
And so I'm building that life where I don't have to work those crazy hours.
Right. At the Shift Spot, we basically we focus on the 5 areas where businesses tend to suffer, right? Human capital, leadership, process and systems, finances, et cetera, marketing. But then there's the sixth aspect, and that is the mind, body, and soul, because as CEO, so often you don't take care of yourself. And I know when I was first starting my company back in the day, I ran myself ragged to the point of sickness, where I literally taxed my body to the point of exhaustion. And I've heard way worse stories than the ones that I've gone through, because often when you're running a company, the person forgets to take care of the biggest asset that that company has, which is them. So part of what we do at the Shift Spot is also reminding people that those relationships matter. Your wife and your husband matters, your kids matter. You never see anybody on their deathbed or going through dementia saying, I wish I would have worked more. So we really try to get people to slow down and remember that the reason you got into this was to have some of those freedoms and to have some of that balance. And I think it really does get lost quite a bit.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, at the end of the day, why are we working? We're working to take care of our families and to support our loved ones and be there for them, maybe take really cool vacations or spend more time with them. And so that's what it comes down to. And I think we forget that in the day-to-day operations of the business.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you were on a mastermind. I'm just curious. What was the annual cost? Like 25 grand? I always hear masterminds and like 25 grand seems to be the number that people use.
Yeah, so this one I think was 800 a month.
Mm-hmm.
They range though, so you can even find like there's a local women's networking group, which is a little
Mm-hmm.
different than a mastermind, and that one is only like $20 a month, and I could go out and have like they do events, like I can go out and have dinner, or I can do drinks or whatnot. So that one probably definitely gonna join because it's a low cost.
Right.
And then the other ones I've been testing out, yeah, that one was about 900 a month. And then they range though. I actually have worked for a lot of masterminds. So some have been up to 10,000 minimum a year. And
Mm-hmm.
then other ones, it just really depends, one, the net worth of the people that are in the mastermind,
Right.
and how often are they meeting, what's included with it. Some people do annual like retreats or events are included in that price. So there's a lot of different factors that go into mastermind costs.
Yeah. 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 I was just curious.
Yes.
So what would you say are the 3 things that are impacting your business right now or your company right now?
Negatively or positively?
Either one.
Okay, cool. Right now, I feel like referrals have been huge right now. And so we've had a lot of referrals that have been just creating this huge growth in our business. But I think we're getting the referrals because I actually started something that was really simple. It was a simple automation, but I call it my CEO check-in. And quarterly, I have an automation that goes out that checks in with my clients, even though I'm not
Mm-hmm.
working with them because I don't work in my business anymore. I work on my business, but
Right.
it allows me to check in with them. And then their response, our project, I have like my director of operations can see the response. So if she needs to answer anything, you know, as me or let me know what's going on, we can. And so it's just a really great way. I feel like that's helped with creating a community within our business.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I think the prices, you know, there's been a huge price range markup on pretty much everything, gas, food, anything and everything. We have seen an effect in that. But it's been really interesting because we do work with 6-figure entrepreneurs that are trying to hit that are usually like mid to high 6 figures. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's not necessarily affecting them as much, but they are getting choosier with what type of services they use because we have a like an hourly price that is the same no matter what. So if you need graphic design, if you need automations, if you need website design, it's the same hourly
Mm-hmm.
price no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we are seeing that they're getting more choosy with what services they're using to try to help with costs. So that's been really interesting. And the third is a huge spike in Nadora. Actually, we weren't even in the red for a week. So we basically made the cost of what it is to have that business within a week. And because entrepreneurs were needing a software that connected. So they didn't, most entrepreneurs have MailChimp here, they'll have Stripe here, they'll have Zoom, they'll have Calendly, and like all these different softwares, whereas Nadora can kind of do everything in one. And we have seen a really big need for that. And so that has really helped.
Did you like create that from the ground up?
So
Just based on like
it's
the
a
need?
white label, and then we had a website developer basically add a whole bunch of things to it.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, do you remember Infusionsoft back in the day?
Yeah.
And like I called it Confusionsoft because you literally needed like 17 different plugins to get everything to work together. And yeah, it definitely, technology has made things a lot easier over the time. So that's really cool that you kind of learned the needs of what your owners and clients need to function more efficiently, and then we're able to like offer a service to them for that.
Yeah, and it's been amazing, especially for my business, because that is not only monthly recurring income, it's passive as well. So
Right.
It's been a huge boost for our business.
Do you think being a foster child helped fuel your drive of where you are today? And if so, how so?
Yeah, I think it kind of helped and it kind of hindered. So as a foster kid, I kind of became a people pleaser. That's something I had to recover from. I'm a former people pleaser now. But I wanted to stay in a home, so I would do anything to please the current foster family. And so it kind of put me in that role of people pleaser. So that's where I feel like I was hindered. But I do think it showed me where life can go and how far I've grown. Like it basically gave me a guideline. I kind of put foster care at the bottom, and I kind of put where I am now at the top. And I've been kind of in between. I've kind of sometimes been lower, sometimes been higher. And I have learned just to get through, not take everything too personally, accept life as it comes. So the good things, the bad things, and just know that it's only for my favorite phrase is it's only for a season. This is just a season of life. It's going to be over. And once I get through, I just know I'll be that much stronger.
Yeah, that's awesome. The person I bought my house from, they fostered a lot of children, and I love that. I know that my house was used for that. I think it's really cool. They actually built like a whole third floor because they had so many kids in there. But so curious, where do you see yourself investing resources for the next year for your company?
Yeah, so everything's pretty much going into Nadora because, like I said, that's monthly recurring and passive. So we're really trying to build a community. It's also a networking community, and we have an education portion as well, where business owners can learn from experts in their fields, which is really, really cool. So we're really putting a lot of time, money, and effort into building a community around Nadora. So that way, hopefully we can, I can completely step out of both businesses and I really just want to build the foundation for them. And then I'm going to hand them off to my directors of operations.
Awesome. That's great. Okay, well, is there anything that you would like to finish up with that you could give a CEO or business owner on their journey advice to help them get there quicker?
Yeah, so I would say don't have so many projects at once. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are ADHD. I know I am myself. And so we come up with so many amazing business ideas, but that's what can kill us. So just starting like one business and getting it to the part that where you're happy with it, you're like, I've done all that I can, and then moving on to the next business and building that team. Or if you're doing like 100 different products in your business, just start getting at least the first 3 just really solid, really going, and then you can work on the next 3. Right. So just, I think, always having a set goal.
Focus. Please. That's funny. Okay. Awesome. Well, it was so great having you here today, and we wish you continued success in all your ventures.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.
Thanks.